Hi, welcome to part 2 of my video on chord construction. In part 1, we covered the difference between whole steps and half steps and how they apply to the 12 notes. Whole steps and half steps are an example of intervals, but we're going to do the next interval, which would be a minor third. So a minor third is a whole step and a half step. An example of a minor third would be an A to a C. Here's what it sounds like. And C to A is going down a minor third. So minor third A to C. Another minor third would be B to D, because we do a whole step and a half step. Another minor third would be C sharp to E, because we're doing a whole step and a half step. Major thirds are two whole steps. An example of a major third would be A to C sharp. Another one would be C to E. So two whole steps for your major third. Knowing those two intervals is key. I'm not using this as a video on intervals, rather a video on building chords. And if you have these, you have a very strong foundation for chords, because chords are primarily built on thirds. Let's talk a little bit about making a chord, any chord. How about A minor? So we're doing an A minor chord, straight A minor, not A minor 7 or A minor 6. So it sounds like this on the guitar. 1, 2. That would be a minor third. Excuse me, let me say it again. That would be an A minor chord, which happens to have a minor third in it. So A, C, and E are the notes in an A minor chord, and they contain the intervals minor third followed by a major third. Small m for minor, big M for major, just to save time. So a minor third is one whole and one half step, whereas the major third is two whole steps. So I don't know why I erased that. To get a regular minor chord, we start with our letter. So in other words, it's A minor, so we're starting with A. Go a minor third higher, whole step and half step, we arrive at C. Always count the one you're on, important. You'll see why later. Major third above C, so whole step gets us to E. So that's why A, C, and E are our notes in an A minor chord. Let's do another example. How about G minor? Again, this isn't minor 7 or minor 6. That would be adding another note. We'll get to that. G minor have the notes G, B flat, and D. I arrived at that by starting with G. This continues, by the way. So just like here, it's as high as we can hear and as low as we can hear. Doesn't stop there, but it also doesn't go to H. So A sharp, B flat would be the next note. We're choosing B flat because that's a third. In other words, G, A, B. So it's some form of B, in this case flat. Then we'd have B flat to D as two whole steps or a major third. So that's how we get minor chords. If we wanted to do major chords, we just flip this around. So we start with a major third because it's a major chord. And then in order to make it nice and consonant, we have a minor third in there. And that's what would give us G major. If we got rid of the flat, so G to B is a major third. G to D is a minor third. Okay. That's the difference between major and minor. Another way to think about this, I'm not going to go over this in this video in order to save time, but if you're familiar with scales and have some scale knowledge, you can find these chords based on that. Let's say we had a G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. If you're not familiar with what I'm doing, just kind of zone out through this section or fast forward it. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that can discuss major scales. Really, plenty of videos on YouTube to discuss all these topics, but I thought I could streamline it by sending you this, and maybe it would be more relative to what you're doing. Also, I wanted a sort of a quick course in it. So this is a G major scale. 1, 3, and 5 of the G major scale, that's how we get a G major chord. The 1, 3, 5 of a G minor scale is one way to arrive at a G minor chord. It's taking the first degree, third degree, fifth degree of the scale. We're not going to go into that today. I just wanted to mention it because it's relevant here, and it's good to, if you already have that knowledge, then might as well employ it. Okay, so I'm going to go over, now that we know the difference between minor third and major third, I'm going to use those to make major 7 chords, dominant 7 chords, and minor 7 chords. I'm going to put 1, 3, 5, 7. Those numbers relate to degrees of the scale, but we also reference those even if we're not directly referencing the scales. So each chord, major 7, minor 7, and dominant 7 have a 1, 3, 5, 7. Just think of, you could, if that's confusing, just think they have 4 notes in them. And we're going to get to them by using intervals. So we go from the first note to the next note in the chord. If we're doing a major 7, the interval would be a major third, a minor third, and a major third. Let's think of an example to bring this to life. So major 7 could be notated with a triangle 7. You can, maybe some people write major, maybe they write out major 7. You know, it depends on the chart you have, but those are all possibilities. Let's do C. That tends to be the easiest one because there are no sharps or flats in the C major scale. So minor third above C, a major third above C, be C to E. So we know we have those two because we're starting on C because it's a C major 7 chord. Then we're going to go a major third, just 2 whole steps and arrive at E. For a minor third, that'd be a whole step and a half step, or vice versa, a half step, whole step, gets to G. And a major third brings us to B. So C, E, G, B would be how we arrive at a C major 7 chord. 7, dominant 7, or 7. This tends to confuse people at first when they're not as familiar, when they haven't had as much experience with chords. Major 7 and 7 are different. So in other words, if we see C major 7, that is different than C7. One note's different, we flat the 7. So it would be C, E, G, B flat for a dominant 7 chord. And of course, the interval would have changed. Major third, minor third, excuse me. Big M, little m, little m. Major third, minor third gets us the dominant 7. Feel free to pause and rewind if you need to. Some people say I talk too fast, and maybe they're right, I don't know. Minor 7. The intervals here are minor third, major third, minor third. So 1, 3, 5, 7. An example, C, E flat, G, B flat. C, E flat for minor third, G is a major third above E flat, and a minor third to B flat gives us our C minor 7 chord. I know that was kind of a crash course, so what I'm going to do is provide another example in order to clear up any confusion that I may have caused, any mistakes I may have made, anything that just might not be very clear yet. So let's do this for A flat. So if we're on A flat and we want to do A flat major 7, we're going to chord. We're going to start A flat, C, E flat, G. So that would follow the formula, minor third. Let me say that again. Major third, major third, if we're doing the major 7 chord. one way to find the 7 is to just take that knowledge we already have and flat the 7. That would give us a G flat. So A flat, C, E flat, G flat gives us the dominant 7. A flat, C, E flat, G flat. If you're new to this, might as well check it. Okay, that's my major third, that's my 2 whole steps, and so on. You could also check that with the scale if you have scale knowledge. Write out the notes of an A flat major scale and find a 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, that's my major 7. I'm going to flat the 7 to get a dominant 7. Take my 7th chord, I'll flat the 3rd, and that'll give me my minor 7. So A flat, C flat, E flat, G flat would be the notes of your minor 7 chord. A flat, C flat, E flat, G flat. Wow, all those flats tend to be tricky to play. Okay, if you have any questions or any notice any mistakes that might be misleading, please leave them in the comments, and I can maybe remove the video and do another one. Have a great day. Thanks.